All right, so today I would also like to talk about what it is that's making me think that my relatives, even though they didn't step right up to me face to face to say, um, you going? Oh, okay. To say that they were actually the ones doing all this stuff um, directly to me. Uh, what gives me the idea that they were the ones that were responsible for these types of incidences or would-be tragedies or uh, basically all these obstacles that I had to clear on their very own made up and created obstacle courses for me. Um, I'm not saying that anybody should do what I do or think how I think. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm just saying what my own experiences were and what they have been and how I thought of them and how I thought my way through it at the time of experiencing all this stuff happen when I was involved with a really abusive bunch of relatives that I had I was just born to that family, and the individuals that they literally instructed to sort of come after me and keep me in abusive relationships with them and so on and so forth. So I'm not telling anyone what to do, but if this is seen by somebody experiencing something similar and it helps them out, that's really good. So what's making me think that my relatives are responsible for literally trying to conduct and orchestrate, set up, sabotage, a lot of mentally abusive situations that could really cause a lot of like confusion, chaos, sadness, depression. I managed to. I did experience a little bit of those things, like depression and things like that, but I usually ended up uh, sort of getting help, going to get therapy, going to get counseling, reaching out to resources that were available to me that I could afford, so that I didn't end up allowing all this type of these types of situations to sort of sit within me and then turn into something worse. And I really worked on getting myself a lot of counseling as fast as I could so that this sort of these situations wouldn't be bottled up inside me, and then it would affect somebody else that totally wasn't responsible for them, for all the abuses that I had experienced. But so I was really young, and I was at a relative's house, and on the local newspaper called The Sun, right on the front page, there was a photograph of my own relative. She was my mother's sister, and she was at a union, organized union event for the union of her work. And on the front page of the newspaper, she had my baby cousin in her arms, and she actually sort of jumped out in front of a big semi truck that she was trying to protest, uh, working for her organization or her company or her job that everyone was striking against. And So it was a pretty large semi truck, and in the photograph, it was like it, it it looked like the truck itself was taller than her, and the photograph shows her with my baby cousin in her arms, and she's literally diving out or jumping out in front of this semi um, at her union rally. And it was a strike, it was a union strike at her job, and this was many years ago. So as I grew older, I just knew that there was things about my relatives that made me just really uncomfortable. I didn't like them. I didn't approve of them. I would get along with them just to keep the peace, because my mother felt really beholden to them, and she would hang out with them a lot. And she was a sort of a half sibling, I think. I believe she was a half sibling, and she just felt like this family took her in when they didn't have to, and so she always wanted to do right by them. But the problem is that my mother saw this too on the front page of the newspaper at the time. It was in the late 80s. I was just a kid, and I I tried sort of like trying to get away from them, or trying to make it so that my mother would stop hanging out with them so much, because everything was always like that with them. Anything that they did was always somebody else's responsibility or somebody else's fault. And it was getting so out of control that they were starting to, as far as I was concerned, and as far as I'm concerned now, it was really an endangerment of their own children, um, that they were starting to do. I think anyone would agree that to be at a union strike and then hold your infant in your arms and jump in front of a semi truck, which was probably going really slow. It was probably just pulling out of the lot that they were that they were striking in. Um, but I think that anyone would agree that that's unreasonable. That's absolutely unreasonable. It's ridiculous. It's that to me is just a reckless endangerment of a child. And so my relatives and I always had this sort of argument. They knew I felt that way. They knew that those were my thoughts on the matter, and that those were my feelings on such subjects. And they really, instead of, you know, understanding that maybe that's not the best way to handle adult problems, they seemed to just resent me more and more every single day. And every day that I grew older, and more firm in my beliefs about what's right and what's wrong, they they really did a lot of tests, and they really, if I behaved properly in any of the schemes that unfolded within my life, part mostly because of them, um, if I reacted the right way, then I could be sure that I would be punished for it. And that's what makes me believe that, now at this age, 43, that's what sort of is making it so that I, not sort of, that's how come I think that they are responsible for all of these events and tragedies and averted tragedies.